Welcome back to Ghostfire Entertainment. I'm your host, Kanan Becker, and today we do another deep dive into Netflix. And let's get to the list.
Hello? Can you find me?
Mouse is a 2017 drama horror movie. Directed by Yayo Herrero, it stars Alma Terzic, Sanan Milovic, and Alexander Sexton. Alex and Selma are a couple on a trip to the heart of Bosnia. Lost and seemingly surrounded by landmines, a pair of locals offer to guide them home.
Take it easy, my friend. Enjoy Bosnia. Sunshine, fresh air, minefields. Relax.
So this is a dark, tragic, very disturbing type of movie. It's one of those hyper-real kind of horror movies that feels like something that has probably really happened. And these are not normally my favorite types of movies, but when I come across one that is so impactful, powerful, and haunting and disturbing, I can't help but let you guys know about it. In a lot of ways, tonally, it reminds me of See No Evil and Coming Home in the Dark. Just those movies that'll haunt you long after you've seen them. So is this a fun movie? Absolutely not. But if you're looking for something that's bone-chilling in a hyper-real way, this is a fantastic pick.
I'm here. Behind you, look. It's just a game.
Ouija, Origin of Evil is a 2016 supernatural horror movie. Directed and edited by Mike Flanagan. It stars Elizabeth Reeser, Lulu Wilson, and Annalise Basso. In 1967 Los Angeles, a widowed mother and her two daughters had a new stunt to bolster their seance scam business by inviting an evil presence into their home.
Daddy, are you there? Who are you?
Unfortunately, a lot of people have written this film off because the first one, Ouija, was just such a train wreck. It was boring and just not remarkable in any way, shape, or form. So because of that, I mean, why would you want to watch a sequel, or in this case, a prequel to something that was just so boring? But this one was done by Mike Flanagan, and as you know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I'm a huge fan of his. And once again, he just directs his ass off with this movie. It's creepy and mysterious, haunting and moving, and beautifully put together. The cinematography, the costume designs, everything about this period piece really just jumps off the screen. Now, I'm not going to say this is the most original movie in the world, and yes, the CGI is a bit too much at times, but I think for an entertaining popcorn demonic horror movie, this is a fantastic watch and one to definitely add to your list.
I'm behind you.
I am so glad that you will be with us for what comes next.
Midnight Mass is a 2021 supernatural horror miniseries. Created and directed by Mike Flanagan. It stars Zach Gilford, Kate Segal, and Hamish Linkletter. The plot's about an isolated island community who experience miraculous events and frightening omens after the arrival of a mysterious, charismatic young priest.
Good morning. I know I'm not who you expected to see. Just know I'm only here to help, and I look forward to meeting you all.
This really is one of my all-time favorite horror miniseries. It doesn't even really feel like a series. In so many ways, it feels much more like a movie that's just broken into 8 parts. Because in every way, it feels cinematic. The way it's shot, the special effects, the acting is absolutely superb. I mean, in my opinion, Mike Flanagan is a horror genius. I don't think there's anyone doing a better job of telling horror stories right now. And especially when he's also involved in the writing process. And as much as I love The Haunting of Hill House and Blind Manor, I think this is probably my favorite of any of the things he's ever been involved in. This is just so powerful. I mean, not only is it creepy and uncomfortable and deals with disturbing things, it's also just moving and emotional. There are so many scenes and moments in this that I thought were just jaw-dropping. So in my opinion, this is a horror masterpiece and one that I highly highly recommend.
I am right behind you.
The Swarm is a 2020 French horror drama. Directed by Just Philippot, it stars Sully Amberheen, Sophie Camus, and Marie Narbonne. The story is about a single mother who runs a locust farm that isn't doing well, but accidentally discovers that blood makes them thrive, and does her best to hide the secret. Going into this, I thought it was going to be a creature feature, but it's much more than that. For one, it's very dramatic. There's a lot of emotional scenes, really great acting as well, but just a very interesting family dynamic. Because the true story to this is this mother who's just fighting to survive to raise her children with her husband passing away and leaving them practically broke. And so you can really feel her frustration throughout this movie as she tries to do everything she can to just keep food on the table. But this movie does get pretty dark and uncomfortable, and I never thought I would be scared of locusts, but the way that they are portrayed in this and what they do is horrifying. Now, this is a small movie, so don't go into this with super high expectations. It's an indie horror movie, but I think if you go into it not expecting to be blown away, but just looking for a good drama horror movie that's gonna get under your skin, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So definitely check it out.
Just want a quiet house.
Malevolent is a 2018 British supernatural horror movie. Directed by Olaf de Flare, it stars Florence Pugh, Ben Lloyd Hughes, and Scott Chambers. It's about a team of scam artists who get more than they bargained for when a job at a haunted country estate gets out of hand.
You said you heard screaming.
Yes, angry, taunting. I just want a quiet house.
I've mentioned this a few times on Netflix lists in the past because I just love this movie, and it's strange to me that it's never gotten more buzz, and even when I've talked about it before, I've always got like kind of a lukewarm reception from people. And I don't know if just not very many of you have checked it out, or maybe I'm just on an island and I see something that other people just aren't. I don't know what it is, because I think this is a brilliant little movie. It's wonderfully acted. I mean, it's got Florence Pugh as the main star, and she's become this huge mega star now, but even a few years back when she did this, she was already just amazing at her craft. But I love the twist that this movie takes. It gets really disturbing, uncomfortable, and yes, in a lot of ways, it's not the most original movie ever done. We've seen a lot of these same kind of things done in a lot of different haunted movies, but there's something about this one. Just the way it's shot, the color grade that it's used, the way the cinematography is done, just the pacing of it. It feels very believable to me and absolutely kept me engaged the entire time. I think if you're a fan of haunted ghost stories, this is one you absolutely need to see.
Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you.
Where's Ernest?
We Have a Ghost is a 2023 supernatural horror comedy. Written and directed by Christopher Landon, it stars Jahi Diallo Winston, David Harbour, and Anthony Mackie. The discovery that their house is haunted by a ghost named Ernest makes Kevin's family a social media sensation. But when Kevin and Ernest get to the bottom of the mystery of Ernest's past, they become targets of the CIA.
Ready to have some fun?
I would say this is very loosely horror. It's really not scary at all. This is much more an entryway to horror imagery and much more something that's for the family. But I watched it by myself. I got no family. And to be honest, I had a blast with it. I just got out my candy and my popcorn and really had a great wholesome time with it. In a lot of ways, it reminds me of like a Goosebumps type of thing where it is light horror. It's got the imagery. It's got the fun little spooky ghosty stuff going on, but definitely definitely not anything heavy, not anything that's gonna leave you bogged down. It's just a silly little fun movie. And it has some genuinely good laughs at times as well. Now, I won't say this movie is without flaws, but if you go into it without any expectations, definitely not to pick it apart, check your brain at the door a bit, I think you could have fun with it too. So definitely check it out.
Hey, don't you run away. Please stay.
You know my secret.
There's Someone Inside Your House is a 2021 teen slasher horror movie. Directed by Patrick Brice, it stars Sydney Park, Theodore Pellerin, and Dale Wibley. The plot's about the graduating class of Osborne High School, who are being targeted by a masked assailant intent on exposing the darkest secret of each victim, and only a group of misfit outsiders can stop the killings.
Shit, there's someone wearing Rodrigo's face!
This is very much in the line of something like Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer. Movies like that definitely have flaws. They're not the greatest movies, and a lot of people think are just flat out bad. Now, in no way am I saying this is as good as Scream. This is that next layer down with movies, like I said, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend. It's in that category where if you take it serious at all, it's gonna be ruined. But if you go into them just to have fun and watch a silly teen slasher, then I think you could really have fun with this one, because it does do some unique things. For the most part, it is run-of-the-mill. There isn't anything crazy different, but there are some things that it does do that I don't really want to give away, but it does have a few tweaks here and there that give it enough originality that I think it's worth checking out. On top of that, it's fun to see a movie that feels like a bit of a throwback, something that's from years past, from the early 2000s when we were seeing movies like this a dime a dozen. And even though most of the characters in this are just fodder to be killed, I think there are a few of them that actually shine. And then the villain themselves also, I think, has enough of a backstory, enough interesting qualities that it's worth seeing through to the end. But the biggest thing that shined to me about this movie is the way that it looks. It's really well shot. The lighting, the cinematography, the pacing, the set designs, the way this movie is visually presented, I thought was great. So this is definitely not a game changer, but just a fun popcorn teen slasher. And if you enjoy those kind of movies like I do, I think you'll have a great time with this one.
I'm behind you. I am right behind you.
The Thing is a 2011 sci-fi horror movie. It's a direct prequel to the 1982 film of the same name by John Carpenter, and directed by Matthias Van Heijingen Jr. It stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Joel Egerton, and Eric Christian Olsen. At an Antarctic research site, the discovery of an alien craft leads to a confrontation between graduate student Kate Lloyd and scientist Dr. Sander Halverson.
Let me show you why you flew 10,000 miles. We estimate it's been here 100,000 years.
This is one of those movies that is really impossible to compare to the original. Because if you do, immediately you're gonna shit all over this. Because in no way would I say this holds up to that original. That is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, horror movie ever made. It is the greatest, at least in my opinion. But it's just unparalleled. Everything about the original is a masterpiece. This is not that. But I think if you go into this and just enjoy it for what it is and not for what it isn't, and don't compare it to anything before it and just enjoy it for what it's doing, I think it's actually a really solid little movie. Because if you could just put aside the overwhelming amounts of CGI that just do not really hold up and embrace the story and the acting and what this is trying to do, I think it's actually really entertaining. I also really appreciate the attention to detail, just the way they set up all these different things to lead into the 1982 film, because this is a prequel. It's meant to set up that 1982 film. And this film does take some chances, and not all of them work, but some of them really do, and I really appreciate, especially towards the end, some of the things that they did. So if you've never seen this, or it's been a while, I think you should give it a shot, because I think you might be pleasantly surprised. or Die is a 2022 British horror thriller directed by Toby Meekins in his feature directorial debut. It stars Lola Evans, Asa Butterfield, and Eddie Marsan. After firing up a lost 1980s survival horror video game, a young coder unleashes a hidden curse that tears reality apart, forcing her to make a terrifying decision and face deadly consequences.
You have to choose, Kayla. Choose or die.
So this is a movie that when it came out last year was panned by most people I saw. People were really making fun of it and being very hard on it. And I just don't know why. I felt really kind of on an island with it because was it amazing? No. Was it a game changer? No. But did I have fun? Yeah. Maybe I'm just an easy audience that enjoys everything. But there was something really entertaining about the nostalgia of it, the 1980s vibe that was all over it. I enjoy that stuff. I really do. It has a real Stranger Things element that I know was their target audience. It was what they were trying to do. But I kind of went in hook, line, and sinker because I really had fun with it. I really enjoyed the adventure of it all, just the different layers and this journey that she goes down. On top of that, I thought the ending was pretty cool with some interesting visuals as well. So for those of you out there that are looking for something that's not super serious, not anything that you got to really think a lot about, but just be entertained by, maybe it's been a long day at work and you just want to relax, I think this is a good pick for that kind of situation. So definitely add this one to your list.
If you don't come play with me, we will kill you. We will kill you. We will kill you.
End of Days is a 1999 action horror movie. Directed by Peter Hyams, it stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Gabriel Byrne, and Robin Tunney. At the end of the century, Satan visits New York City in search of a bride. And now it's up to an ex-cop who now runs an elite security company to stop him.
If the Dark Angel consummates your flesh with his human body before midnight on New Year's Eve, then he unlocks the gate of hell.
Alright, so I rewatched this for the first time since it was in theaters. So 23, 24 years. And did it hold up? Not exactly. It's kind of a bad movie. It's kind of shitty in a lot of ways. Very cheesy. I mean, Arnold is what he is. He's not a great actor. He just isn't, right? But as far as fun movies go, I'm not gonna lie, man, I had an absolute blast with this, partially because of the nostalgia of it, because like I said, I haven't seen it since it was in theaters, but just the nostalgia of it in general, for those of us old enough to remember when 2000 rolled in, 99 into 2000, and just the excitement, that anticipation on would anything happen, would the computers really crash, all that kind of came flooding back to me, and it just gave me all these crazy memories. But beyond that, it actually has some fun characters in this, some fun little plot points. It also really looks great. I mean, this is a high budget production kind of movie. The set design, special effects, everything was state of the art and top notch for the time. But when you boil it down to its core, it's really just a stupid action movie. It's nothing more, nothing less. It's just there to be entertained by. But damn it, if it isn't fun to see Arnold against Satan, that shit's just gold. So I think you could have a really good time with this movie. It's perfect for your Saturday night. So do yourself a favor, grab your popcorn and your candy and enjoy. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoyed this, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button and ding that little bell, because that is the best way to keep track of this channel. And when I post videos like this, and I post videos like this every single week. And I also want to give a huge, massive, enormous thank you to the Ghost Pirate crew, to you guys over on Patreon, and to the channel members over here. You guys absolutely mean the world to me. And if you'd like to find out how you can help support this channel on Patreon, there's a link down in the description. Or if you want to become a channel member, there's a button down there that says join. But like always, thank you so much for watching. Please crush that like button, and remember, guys, horror can be fun! If you enjoyed this, click right here to watch my most recent Tubi recommendation list. And I'll see you guys next time!